Okay, this is day 6, unit 11. We're going to continue on with impaired driving. Keep in mind also too, impaired driving, we've been focusing a lot about alcohol, but it could be prescription drugs as well, or non-prescription drugs, or illegal, or over-the-counter, I should say, drugs. Anything that causes you to be impaired is, of course, obviously against the law. So let's get started with the PowerPoint, and we'll continue on with day 6. Responsibility to say no. Just like I just mentioned in the every 15-minute video, that girl should have just said no. Pretty simple word, just 2 letters. Pretty simple word. You learned back when you were a small child that word and what that meant. Alcohol sometimes plays tricks with your mind, so you don't think clearly. Alcohol-related crashes, we'll talk a little bit about that, state penalties and things. Elimination of alcohol affects the drugs with alcohol. Oops, sorry, I think I went back too far. No, we did. Okay. Summary consequences. Younger people are greater chance of being in a crash than older people. The greater the BAC, remember blood alcohol content. Here in North Carolina and pretty much all 50 states, I think if not all 50 states, it's 0.08. The greater the BAC, the greater the risk of being in a fatal crash. 38% of all fatalities are alcohol related. Okay, if you have suspension, license suspension, fines, prison term. Stopping someone else, another person from drinking, take the keys, arrange for designated driver, call for a cab or Uber or whatever, have them stay overnight if possible. Alternatives to drinking and driving: do something else, stay at home, agree on a designated driver, plan to stay overnight, call for a ride, find a ride. That's one thing with finding a ride. Unless you know that ride is a designated driver or hasn't been drinking at that party, it's going to be hard unless you call a relative or a friend that wasn't at the party. An average one alcohol impaired driving fatality every 48 minutes. 10,800 people. As I mentioned before, there's probably a lot more, and all 50 states are 08 now. Some of the effects of alcohol we've went over before: searching, eye focus, double vision, distance judgment, and judging how far you are, side vision, sharpness of vision. Affects alcohol again: space management, color distinctions, night vision. Obviously makes it harder. Night vision in general is harder. Slower response times, and motor skills are going to be messed up on you or impaired. The factors that affect BAC are gender, body weight, size of drink, food in your system, and time spent drinking. As little as a 0.03 can reduce your ability to search and evaluate. Remember the IPD process. That will be very much affected. Produces more aggressive behavior or decisions. Alcohol affects the judgment first, but also affects the muscular actions as well. Shown by failure to maintain the car in a straight line. You've seen people drinking and driving, and they can't keep the car on the road. Some of the common signs of a drinking and driving: straddling the middle of the lane, often hits something on the side, weaves back and forth, drives on the shoulder, drives too slow, illegal or abrupt turns, stops for no apparent reason, follows too closely, drifts, drives in opposing traffic or crossing traffic. When they're driving at night, sometimes they forget to turn their lights on, or they have their high beams on and fails to lower them. Elimination of alcohol, as we know, there's only 3 ways: breath, sweat, oxidation through the liver. Time is the only method to remove alcohol out of the system. An hour or hour and a half or longer to eliminate a drink out of your system. So if you've had 2 drinks, it's going to take roughly about 3 hours for both drinks to leave your system. So it's a good while. As I mentioned earlier, over-the-counter medication, you could be charged with drinking and drive, not drinking and drive, but DWI, prescription medication, and of course the illegal drugs, obviously against the law, plus they have similar effects on alcohol. With over-the-counter medication, I would recommend taking it first, seeing how it does your body, and it may be something that's Tylenol, and Tylenol usually doesn't affect anyone, so that would be fine. If, for instance, if NyQuil, for head and cold, makes you loopy, well, if you know you're taking NyQuil, chances are you shouldn't get behind the wheel, because NyQuil's going to potentially cause an accident with you and potentially get you a drunk driving charge or DWI charge. If you don't know what the ingredients are in the medication, Google it. Find out look on the box or the pill bottle and Google the terms. Prescription medication, the same thing. Check the label. Maybe take the medication to start with, or check with your doctor or pharmacist to get a better grasp on whether you should get behind the wheel or not. Of course, the illegal drugs, I shouldn't have to go into any of that. Effects with other drugs, same things: perception, judgment, coordination, vision, lethargic or mood. Okay, so it's pretty much the same thing. Mixing alcohol and drugs is very, very dangerous. It gives you multiple effects. Has additional effects on its own. Reduces the driver's ability to operate a vehicle, and can cause serious health problems or death. I've heard people accidentally overdosing. Well, that might be some of it there. Okay, there's a couple short little video clips we want to watch, and we'll be done with section Unit 11. Actually, just got one.
How many drinks in the body does it take to affect driving? Actually, just one will do it. No, most people won't stagger around. Many won't do anything strange. But if they need to react quickly, it may not happen. As more drinks enter the bloodstream, strange things do begin to happen. Let's see what they are. The first thing affected is judgment, usually with about 2 drinks in the system. Drivers begin to make bad decisions and take chances they wouldn't ordinarily take. What makes it worse is that the same bad judgment keeps them from realizing how badly they're doing. They think that they're driving better than ever, but it's obvious they aren't. They begin to drive too fast, pull out without looking, pass when they shouldn't. And, well, we get the idea. The next thing to go is the ability to process information. The brain starts to slow down. With 3 drinks in their system, drivers are slow to recognize what's happening. Eventually, as drivers become intoxicated, they begin to lose control of cars. Some people just don't get no respect. Some people don't deserve it. For some reason, most folks don't appreciate being spilled on or thrown up on or having their furniture wrecked. He thinks he's a riot. So why isn't anybody laughing? Because he looks ridiculous. Yes, drunk driving is dangerous and disgusting and against the law. Drunk driving can cost people a fine, their license, and even their car. The law is really tough on drunk driving, and it's very clear on the subject. People don't have to look drunk or act drunk. All they have to do is show up drunk in a breath test. A breath tester measures the amount of alcohol in the blood. If it's any more than 0.1%, it's illegal. In some states, the limit is 0.08%. Any more than 4 drinks in the system is over the limit. But for people under age 21, the limit is 0 in most states. Drivers testing positive for any amount of alcohol are subject to fine as well as license suspension. No states allow more than 0.02%, and that's just 1 drink. There are a lot of myths circulating about drinking and driving. Let's clear up a few of them. Here's one. Actually, a 12-ounce bottle or can of beer, glass of wine, or a wine cooler have the same amount of alcohol as a standard 1-ounce shot of liquor. Here's another. All of the alcohol in the stomach will reach the bloodstream. A full stomach only delays it a short time. Believe it or not, some people really think this is so. Breath testers measure alcohol, not smell. Breath mints don't do anything either except maybe make the officer suspicious. And one more. The body can only get rid of 1 drink an hour, period. But these things can produce a wide-awake, clean, or sweaty drunk. Most of the people picked up for drunk driving thought they could keep from drinking too much. But remember what alcohol does to a person's judgment? The best way to make sure of hanging on to the driver's license is to ride with someone who isn't going to drink, a designated driver, and ride in the designated driver's car. Drinkers who take the designated driver in their own car often change their minds and decide they're really okay to drive. If they do take their own cars, they need to turn the keys over to the designated driver as soon as they reach any place they're going to drink. Where a party is taking place at a friend's house, an alternative is to spend the night there. But stayovers have to be arranged in advance. Many hosts aren't prepared for last-minute guests. What about the drunk who insists on driving home? Heard the phrase, "Friends don't let friends drive drunk"? Good idea, but it's a lot easier to say than to do. It starts with recognizing who are the likely candidates for driving drunk. Here are some clues. One is the walking liquor store. A near relative is the one who wants everyone to chip in for a keg. They avoid taking part in activities, except for drinking games. They tend to drive by themselves, so there will be no interference. The next step is to spot those who are on the way, and to do it before they get there. Signs are getting very loud or confused sloppy, rude, or fumbling. And certainly an important step is to spot those who are already there, like people with slurred speech, who are openly antagonistic or hostile, or who can hardly walk. After spotting candidates and detecting signs, the third step is to cut them off. The sooner the better, since they will probably get worse as the alcohol in the stomach enters the bloodstream. Keeping intoxicated persons from drinking more will save a lot of trouble. Don't give a moment's thought to later resentment. If the intoxicated person remembers anything the next day, it's more likely to cause embarrassment than ill feeling. Get others to help. Apply social pressure. Don't expect cooperation. Drunks don't give up easily, and they can be quite nasty. Get the drink out of their hands. They'll probably insist that one more won't hurt them. Don't try to reason with a drunk. And don't worry about offending them. If they remember anything the next day, they're more likely to be embarrassed than sore about it. At least the ones you care about will be. No more Mr. Nice Guy. Do whatever's necessary to keep anyone who's impaired.
Okay, this wraps up Unit 11. Okay, so we're done with alcohol. Impaired driving, as I mentioned, could be prescription, over the counter, or of course alcohol. So just be aware of situations if you're at parties or things like that, and so you don't want to have anybody drinking and driving, and you could prevent it, obviously. So today's special code for this video is ZXC. ZXC 2020 EXC Z. Let's try another one. That was too confusing. Sorry. Let's do another one. I apologize. Let's try another one. LMH 2020 LMH 2020. Thank you.